Title: Before leaving for her girls' trip, my wife sneered. The girls were right about you. You're worse than my ex. When she came back, she unlocked the door and a stunning woman greeted her. My wife stammered, "You look familiar. I just can't place where I've seen you." The woman smirked. "I'm the new co-owner of this house." Then she handed my wife a photo. Her jaw dropped when she realized exactly who this woman was. Start. Before leaving for her so-called girls' trip, she looked at me like I was something beneath her shoes. Her lips curled, venom sharp enough to cut. "The girls were right about you," she sneered. "You're worse than my ex." That was the last thing she said before the suitcase clicked shut and the door slammed behind her. I stood in the silence, not broken, not begging, just burning. There was a time when her laugh filled the house like sunlight, a time when we built things together, small dreams stacked like bricks into something real. She used to look at me as if I was her anchor, her safety, her choice. But anchors become weights when people start swimming toward temptation. Her weekends with the divorced girlfriends grew longer, her excuses thinner, her eyes colder. I told myself trust is the foundation of marriage, but cracks spread faster when you're the only one patching them. I wasn't blind, not anymore. The late-night texts, the sudden perfume, the dead phone battery that always seemed to die at the same convenient hours. So I set a recorder in her bag, and there it was, her friends whispering poison into her ear. "You're not his toy. Live for yourself. Set yourself free." And then her own voice, raw, dripping contempt. "He's weak, too loyal, too predictable. Maybe I'll finally have some fun." That was the night something in me shifted. The pain calcified into steel. Revenge is best when it looks like justice wearing a smile. I didn't scream, didn't confront, didn't beg. Instead, I collected. Every text, every photo, every message she thought was hidden in apps and deleted chats. Screenshots layered into folders, dates neatly marked. Then I moved to the finances. Quietly, I shifted assets, consolidated accounts, rewrote ownership titles. She never noticed. I had always been the one she trusted with the boring details. And then came the final piece, the one she would never see coming. Her ex. Not the man she compared me to, the one she thought I was worse than, but his sister. A woman who despised my wife for what she'd done to her brother, yet admired how I'd tried to hold it all together. Over coffee and quiet conversations, an alliance was forged, a partnership, and eventually something stronger. While she was clinking glasses on her trip, I was signing papers. While she laughed about her newfound freedom, I was finalizing a co-ownership contract. While she played the role of untouchable, I was rearranging the ground beneath her feet. The house, the one she thought she'd leave me in ruins to fight for, was no longer mine alone. The day she returned, I made sure not to be home. She unlocked the door with that careless arrogance, rolling her suitcase inside, humming, like a woman who thought she was untouchable. And then she froze, because standing in the living room was her. Tall, composed, stunning in the kind of way that didn't beg for attention but commanded it anyway. My wife's voice cracked as she stammered, "You look familiar. I just can't place where I've seen you." The woman smirked, eyes sharp as glass. "I'm the new co-owner of this house." And then she handed her a photo. My wife's jaw went slack, the color draining from her face as she realized who stood before her. Her ex-husband's sister, the one who had watched her rip her brother apart, the one who now stood beside me in the ashes of her lies. My wife tried to speak, but words choked in her throat. I wasn't there to watch her crumble. I wanted the silence of her unraveling to belong only to her. But I knew what she saw in that moment. She saw every path closing, the house no longer hers, her reputation about to rot, with evidence ready to burn her carefully curated image to the ground. And the cruelest cut of all, her new adversary wasn't a stranger. It was someone who already knew her darkest chapters. By the time I came home later, she was gone. No note, no apologies, just absence. People ask if revenge feels as good as forgiveness. They don't understand. They are not the same currency. Forgiveness is charity. Revenge is balance. I didn't need to raise my voice. I didn't need to break her down with threats. All I did was shift the ground and let her trip over her own sins. And now the house is quiet again. Not empty, never empty, but quiet in the way that feels like peace. She left with nothing but her own bitterness. I remained with everything that mattered, my dignity, my future, and someone who saw the worth in me she tried so hard to bury. She once sneered that I was worse than her ex. Now she knows the truth. I was never worse. I was just the man who refused to stay broken. And that knowledge, I imagine, will haunt her longer than anything I could have ever said.